Donald Trump will decide if he will drag the US into the war between Israel and Iran within the next 2 weeks.
Now, regarding the ongoing situation in Iran, I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision-making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks." That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today.
But it seems as though US assistance in the war may be unnecessary if Benjamin Netanyahu's latest announcement is anything to go by. According to the New York Times, the Israeli Prime Minister said on Thursday that Israel has the capability to achieve all of its goals alone when it comes to Iran's nuclear facilities, and that it is up to President Trump if he wants to join in or not. He then doubled down in a rare TV interview, conceding that Trump will do what is best for America, whilst he remains committed to destroying the nuclear threat posed by Iran.
President Trump will do what's best for America. I trust his judgment. He's a tremendous friend, a tremendous world leader, a tremendous friend of Israel and the Jewish people. And we will do what we have to do, and we are doing it. We are committed to destroying the nuclear threat, the threat of a nuclear annihilation against Israel.
This announcement came as a surprise to online commentators who are questioning America's involvement in the conflict in the first place. Commentator Nick Sauter said, "Many of us have been called every name in the book by warmongers this week, including anti-Israel and anti-Semitic, simply for advocating against US involvement in someone else's war. Totally unfair. There is nothing America first about Middle Eastern regime changes." He then added, "Good for them. I don't care who they want to go to war with. Just don't expect America to jump in with them. Those days are over." And this commentator agreed, saying he's right. It would be helpful, but Israel and the IDF can finish the job on their own. Bernie Sanders unleashed on Netanyahu and demanded that the US not be involved in the war.
And now we face a dangerous and escalating war in Iran, which was begun in violation of international law by the extremist Netanyahu government. And the main point that I want to make today is that it is absolutely imperative that the United States not be dragged into this war.
And popular comedian and podcaster Theo Von doubled down on this, saying he doesn't trust Netanyahu and America should stay out of the conflict.
Trying to get us into a war with Iran or not, America, if Israel is trying to. I don't trust the Israel leader at all. I don't believe anything that guy says. And I don't think that our soldiers should have to go and defend stuff that they start. I'm not a soldier, so I'm obviously speaking out of turn. I'm not even brave enough to serve, so there's that element. But that is kind of how I feel, I guess. And so it's like, yeah, when do I speak? When do I say that? You know? Because it feels like they're trying to push Trump to go do that, and it's like, who makes that choice? Does he make that choice? And then what do we get? You know, what's the win for us? We're just involved in some other thing while we have suffering here at home.
The next 2 weeks will be a crucial time in the war between Israel and Iran, whilst Trump makes his decision of whether to leave the countries to their own devices or intervene. But the media is skeptical, asking if anything will actually happen.
Yes, Caroline. President Trump has said previously in regard to Russia, he's used this phrase about 2 weeks several times in terms of like, we expect like a 2-week deadline and then you give another 2-week deadline. How can we be sure that he's going to stick to this one on making a decision on Iran?
Well, in those deadlines, as you've seen in respect to Russia, Ukraine, might I add, these are two very different, complicated global conflicts, as you know, that the president inherited from our previous incompetent president in the weakness of the previous administration. And the president has spent a tremendous amount of time and effort cleaning up these crises that were caused by the last administration's just complete dereliction of duty on the world stage and American weakness. Now we have American strength again.
And whilst no one knows which direction, if any, Donald Trump will go with this war, his rhetoric about the conflict has been escalating since he rushed home from the G7 to take more of a controlling role over the situation. And people across the globe are listening. Just days ago, his demand that everyone evacuate Tehran was heeded by millions fleeing the city. The president has also said on numerous occasions that Iran should under no circumstances have a nuclear weapon.
In the Tucker Carlson Senator Ted Cruz interview, it seems like this issue on whether or not the United States should strike is kind of dividing a lot of your supporters.
No, my supporters are for me. My supporters are America first. They make America great again. My supporters don't want to see Iran have a nuclear weapon. Tucker's a nice guy. He called and apologized the other day because he thought he said things that were a little bit too strong, and I appreciated that. And Ted Cruz is a nice guy. I mean, he's been with me for a long time. I'd say once the race was over, he's been with me ever since, right? But very simple. If they think that it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon, then they should oppose me, but nobody thinks it's okay. People that don't want, I don't want to fight either. I'm not looking to fight. But if it's a choice between fighting and them having a nuclear weapon, you have to do what you have to do.